Okay. Hopefully everything's working correctly. Got that correct. I think my microphone's coming through fine. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Good morning, B-Shack. You're on a 5-stream streak. How about that? Look at that. It's Monday. We are on the first day of spring break vacation. Here for us, we get 2 weeks of spring break vacation, so we get a week or an extra week. So kids are home, even though daughter had to go do she's part of a special team at school, so she actually has to go in from 9 to 12 each day this week because they're busy building their little Mars rover project. So she has to go in to get it all, hopefully get them all finished up and stuff like that, so they can pack up their rover and ship it to Alabama, and then they're going to hopefully fly there and do the competition. So that is the hope at the moment, but with the current state of flight in the country, I don't know quite what's going to happen with all of that. So we are going to have to punt and see what happens. But yeah, we're back here today working on some more art stuff. We're definitely going to get into experimental territory today. Playing with some different stuff. We've got a different camera setup going on today. So I'll actually show you that real quick. Get rid of Illustrator. There's Sora, she's outside. That's not the camera we're looking for. We're looking for this one. Huzzah! So we're gonna be working on some stuff by hand today, hopefully. And then going from there. So kind of the idea, kind of the plan, kind of the setup. I don't know if it's gonna work. We'll see. Yeah. Okay. So what we've got going on, the grand scheme plan. Last week we worked on this setup a little bit, putting together our little characters here so that we can do these prints that we want to do. So we're gonna be making our own little tote bags. And I have experience doing screen printing. I have experience doing printmaking, just in general on paper with stamps, with lino blocks, with zinc plates, also with, I think there were limestone blocks. Also did some woodcut blocks and stuff like that. So I have some experience doing some printmaking in various forms and shapes. So what we're gonna try to do here today with our little setup is we're gonna try to see if we can get this image printed out that we put together and see if we can actually cut it out of our lino block that I have and see if we can actually get it to print. So yeah, that's the hope and the want and the idea. The catch-22, well, I guess what to do. I'm getting ahead of myself here, ahead of my skis a little bit. But that's the idea. So we want to print out some bags, and we want to be able to do it ourselves. So purchase some screen printing ink, and I have most of the tools left over from my days in college doing a lot of this printing and stuff like I was talking about. So luckily I have 90% of the stuff I need for this. We got our bags over the weekend, so now we have those as well. But we are at the stage where we kind of have a design that we're happy with. I got a couple things that I want to change out and play with today. I want to change, I wrote this at the end of stream last week, the best friends one here. I want to change that up a little bit and make the letters able to be cut a little bit, a little bit easier. And then go from there. And then we have to start seeing about printing out from our inkjet printer a sample so that we can make sure that we're going to be able to then transfer that design to our piece of linoleum that we can then cut out into our stamp and then use that to ink and press onto paper or materials and stuff like that. So that's kind of where we are today. So we got a little bit of work to do here on this file, and then we'll move on to trying to get things printed and cut up so that we can attempt to see if this is going to work or not. We've got some really thin details here, so I don't know. I really don't know how well this is all going to work. I really don't. We're cruising for a bruising on this one. This is pretty thin details. This may have to be one of those ones where I might have to outsource it to like a laser cutter or something like that. Have somebody cut it on a laser. I may even have to get one. I don't know. We're kind of seeing what I can do with our current setup here. So. It may or may not work out. So if I separate these, I think I want to redo this B. I also want to make bigger. Oh, crazy ideas. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Should be a little bit easier to cut now. A bit closer. Question is, does it look too unnatural? Like, this still looks fairly clean. I don't want them to look all the same. Oops. I want this one. Not bad. Let's go ahead and rotate that like there. We'll do like an up and a down kind of looking thing here. Give that a little bit of that roller coaster effect, you know. Best friends. Kind of the, I might want to change, I want to change that B as well. Okay, so I fixed this last week. Change it around. Let's make it a little thicker, a little bigger. I think I want to change that. Nope. Come on, Tahoe. You can do it. Nope. Yeah, better. Okay, cool. What I might do is get rid of that, get rid of that. Make one line through both of them. I like that the patch is really big. Or the P on there is really big. What thickness is it? 2 point... Let's go like 2.5. 2.5. Can we do that? 2.4? 2.3? There we go. It would have felt way too thick up there. Best that. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. It's still going to be difficult to cut out those words, but we're gonna try and do it anyways. The whole name of the game here. Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna be doing a lot of cutting with a X-Acto knife on this, probably. I don't know. Okay, so that's got a... Should be okay. Yeah, try to make it a little bit thicker, make it a little bit easier in my life here to cut that detail in. Like I said, I don't know if this is gonna work or not. We're gonna try it. Hopefully it works. Seven, 5. I know I can cut the boxes. I know that. That's going to be easy enough. Details for the characters and stuff like that. Those are going to be the hard ones. They're going to be pretty thin too. Okay, so we need to print out a sample copy of this. Don't need those. Print. Do not scale. So it should be a 7 by 10 on 8.5 by 11 page. Main tray should be plain paper. Let's just do normal for the moment because we want to double check everything, make sure it's correct. Yes, it's going to be on. Let's see, what type of paper? Default settings, that doesn't matter. Canon. Media size. There we go. That should be the correct size. Scaled is 100. It doesn't change anything here. Let's print it out and see what happens. Don't know what's gonna happen here. Paper may have been replaced. Okay, let's see. See what happens here. We also have to put together a little sample, a mini sample prints too. This is our big main one though. Okay, cool. It worked. Pulled page. Black ink is a little poopy, but we did run it on normal, so that's fine. Okay, so I'll show you all what we're looking at here. Oops, the wrong thing. This one. Huzzah! So we just printed this out. Close this up. Wasn't sure if we were going to need more or less light here, so we'll close that up for now. So this is our test print that we just printed out. All right, where's our little? This is the size of our piece here. Sorry about bumping the microphone. Let's move our keyboard out of the way. Going to be tight. Going to be tight. But it should work. Okay, cool. I think the size is fine. Covers it, which is nice. What I should have done is I should have printed out a border around this frame so that I could have put it on here just perfectly. But that's okay, I can do that for the next one. I want to do something up here. Okay, so do that. Let's put it on the, that's on the outside. We want it on the inside. We want 0 for that. Okay, cool. So now next time when I print it, it should print with that. Go back over here real quick. So what I did was I added this little border on the outside edge. Simple. This guy right there. Boop, boop. So when we print, it will actually give us a little registration mark, essentially, for where we want it to be on the block. This way, if I want to cut it out, then I have a better pattern for that. Cool. So now the question is, if I'm going to transfer this over. Okay, so this is the fun part. So we're going to go back over to our camo studio here. Printmaking 101. Welcome to Printmaking 101 with Tahoe. Hello, my name is Tahoe. Anyways, so if we want to print something like this that has words on it, and our characters, and we want everything to line up on our print like this exactly, right? We want our prints to come out correct like this. We don't want the image to be flipped. We don't want it to be backwards. Example of that. I did this mini print actually on, I just had a pink eraser with my tools, and I created this little mini print, but you can see how it says stitch-tails.com, and it's backwards. You guys aren't seeing that backwards. That's the way it was printed, it was backwards. Because I was just testing it out, I just cut it the way I needed to cut it right off of the bat. So then when you flip it and press it on there like a stamp, it was backwards. So that's what it is. So this would have said Stitch Tails across it like that, and then as you flip it over, it reverses it. So whenever you do printmaking of some sort, you have to remember there's always reverses that need to happen, and sometimes there's double reverses. Just kind of depends on what your process is. We are going to have one of those double reverse processes on this setup here, I believe. Hand reveal, yes. So what does that mean? That means that we want to print out our print copy here onto a piece of essentially laminate, right? Onto a piece of non-porous material, which we are actually going to use. We're going to use these sticker sheets. These are like your standard labels that you can buy at any store, Walmart, Staples, wherever, Amazon, doesn't matter. And it's got a coating on the underside, so when you peel off all these stickers and peel off whatever, this is a super smooth coating underneath. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to print our image onto this surface that's not sticky, and the ink is just going to stay kind of just on the surface. And then we're going to take it, flip it over, and we're going to press it onto our vinyl, and we're going to smooth it out and transfer the ink image over to the vinyl itself, and then peel that off, and then that should be our negative image. It should look like this. And then when this goes to get printed, then it gets flipped again, that gets inked and pressed onto our bags, and then that should be a positive. So we've got some figuring out to do here, which is which way to print everything out so that it turns out correctly. So we talk about those in terms of positive and negative. We want them to be, I think that's right. Anyways, we want to make sure that the flips that we're going to do over and over again here all turn out correctly. So, if we want this result, we need this print to be backwards. So this needs to be backwards. The image needs to be reversed or mirrored. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for, is mirrored. So this needs to be mirrored onto this. So this is going to be a reverse of this, and then in order to get the reverse, we need to be able to have, yeah, we're going to flip this. So this one needs to be a positive. It needs to be this version, which then gets flipped onto here, which gets reversed, and then the reverse gets flipped onto here, which then gets back into our normal positive. So I believe that's correct. I hope that's correct. That's why we're going to have to experiment with it a little bit to see what's going on. Okay. We're going to play with this a little bit here. But we need to do some experiments to make sure that we're going to be able to transfer to this final. That's our big one right now. So we're going to use this. Okay, for anybody who didn't know, these are like typical stamps that you can get. This is my stamp that I use for signing books and stuff like that. Easy, simple. This is one that I had made at, I can't remember which company did this one, but let me see if it'll focus in here. There you go. It's all cut there. That's they burned the image into the top part of it. There it goes. Just our little character guy here. So you can have these laser cut yourself. They're not, this size is not too expensive. You can have it shipped to you. You can also have them made bigger sizes as well. It's an option. You can also get your own laser cutter itself and do this process. It's not too hard. We're going to do more like this process where we're going to, this is also using one of those old erasers, where we cut with our tools a design and then we print it out, or no, we ink it and then we stamp it like a stamp. That's the idea. Trying to think if I have any. Oh yeah, there's the samples. There's the samples and the prints of what that looks like. Yep, doing a little printmaking stuff today. So, or trying to, at the very least. So that's that. So we need to, let's switch back over to our Adobe Illustrator here. Let's pull up, if it'll let me, let's pull up this. This is our print sheet here. This is our thank you stickers that we made. It's the same sticker sheet as we have here. See how we've used all of these already. We only have these two left down here at the bottom. So that's what we're working with here at the moment. For what we're gonna do, this is my template that I downloaded from Avery. Okay, it's got all this stuff on it. Let's get rid of these things at the moment. Get rid of this. Oops, that on my keyboard. Hold on. We gotta do some design work here first. Keyboard has to come back. Okay, so let's go with this. Let's grab this one. Select all. Copy. That here. It's gonna be really big. Pull that too. We don't need that. Okay, so we're just gonna do that. Theoretically, we should be able to print this out onto my sticker paper, my transfer-esque paper here, and then press it onto our piece, onto a smaller piece of vinyl. So let's go ahead and save this real quick. Let's go ahead and save this real quick. Bum, bum, bum. Print. Okay, so we're gonna load this in the printer. Hopefully it's clean enough. I tried to clean it off as best I can. It was a little dirty, dusty, but should be okay. Okay, so let's do this. We want to feed from the rear tray. We want to do photo? It is on a glossy paper. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's do best. Make sure it's going to come out correctly. By 11. We don't have to rotate it. We should be good. No scale. Alright, let's try this out and see what happens. Move my keyboard out of the way again. Well, that's printing. Swap back over to here. I've got some scrap pieces here, left over from old projects long ago. So I think we're going to try, this is our biggest one here. Okay, so it printed it out on that smooth surface. It's going to be kind of fuzzy, but that's okay. And what we're going to do is we're just going to flip it over. Pick a spot, press down. Oh, it's smeared a little bit. I'm going to just press really, really hard here. And it did. It transferred. It definitely screwed it up a little bit, but it did transfer. It's not the best transfer by far. I wonder if I could just take... There's a couple other ways to do something like this. You can see here. I'll bring it up for you guys. We got most of it. Like, we got the base idea of what's going on here, but you can definitely see where the eyes... It just kind of smeared a little bit there. And this will probably, even if I touch it, it's probably going to smear more. Yeah, it is. Because the ink is just sitting on the surface of the vinyl itself. So, it gets the idea down though. We get the base of it figured out. And our other image is going to be bigger. So our details are going to be a little bit more, definitely much bigger to be able to play with here. Well, it's not perfect by any means, but it does work. It's not exactly what I wanted. Hoping it was going to be a little bit better. So if this was, I've used this technique a couple times for like wood and stuff, things that have a more of a porous material. Because this is not as porous, this linoleum is definitely way smoother than paper or wood or anything like that. It definitely did not want to transfer very well. Yeah, we even transferred a little bit just from pressing on there, because there's still ink on it. It definitely moved around a lot too, which sucked. You can also see that when we did our transfer here. See how his little hand is sticking up on the right hand side? His hand is sticking up on the left hand side. So that's the difference of mirroring our images when we do a print across each other. But I backed 2 week spring break. You and Jeff have time for marathon. I would have to buy it first. What do I want to do? Is there a different method? I've seen a different method where they use water. They put this on the surface and then maybe it wasn't water. It was maybe it was some type of acetone or something like that. So the thing about this is we transferred from this to this, so his right hand to his left hand, and then when we print this again, it will go back to printing on where his right hand is up. So that's kind of the process that we want to do right now. We're going right, left, and then back to right. So we should be able to make a positive, create a negative, make a positive. Theoretically. God, I really don't know if I want to do this transfer like this. I don't like the idea of this moving around. I really don't. This is really slippery stuff. Crap. Like I said, some of this is going to be punting and figuring out as we go. I also could have gotten heat transfer sheets. I could have bought heat transfer sheets. Those are the ones or iron-on transfer, the ones you buy for t-shirts and stuff like that. I could have done that and had those available. I did not think of that, but are you using the term punting to describe trying something out? Yes. So it's like, how do I explain this? I kind of don't know what the process is, so I'm having to, or don't know, I'm trying to relate this back to like football terms here. The main idea or the main play didn't work out, so now we're having to essentially kick a field goal, despite wanting to the other play to work out the right way. Like we're having to change our plan and kind of settle for something in a way. We're gonna have to change and shift here just a hair, maybe. Just a wee little bit. I could draw it too. I don't want to draw it that way, but I can. It's not ideal. We could also take a piece of paper. Never change Tahoe, never change. Oh. I know that's you're being. I know what you're doing, but at the same time. We could do tracing paper. We can do something along those lines. Different type of transfer. I don't really want to draw the whole thing out though. if I don't have to. I know they make transfer paper, but I don't want to have to draw it is the thing. Be right back again. Okay. I will be right here trying to figure out whatever the heck it is I'm trying to figure out here. That just didn't help me at all. I may be trying to be too precise might be my problem. Yeah, I keep seeing... This might be our only option at the moment. I don't have anything else prepped at the moment. And we could try to experiment with some stuff, but I don't have any guarantees that any of it's going to work at the moment. I'm looking something up real quick. Please hold. Okay, so the other way to do this would be to... I was hoping I was going to be able to start cutting today, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not. Okay, so how is he doing this? Today I'll show you just how so it can easily be done in larger. Well, maybe I needed to do that the other direction. Instead of putting the paper on top of the pad, put the pad on top of the paper. Okay, so they're saying apply a acrylic medium. What paper are they printing that out on? Okay, so I might have a different idea on how to make this work. We might try it out and see what happens. On label release paper. Okay, so it works the same. Okay, so he's using the same. I'm on the same idea here. I'm not too far off on what I've got going on here. Okay, good to know. I think we just need to try a different setup for it, is all. Okay, so let's swap back over to here. What we're going to do is, this is the size of our sheet, right? This is the size of our print. This is the size of our lino block. Is it going to fit? Yes. Just barely. Okay, so if I cut a little bit off of that one edge over there, when I print this out, I should be able to lay this right on top of here and press down on it. We should be nice and good. We're building a registration system here for this, is what we're doing. Okay, cool. I think that might work. We're gonna punt for sure. So, oh, I forgot to explain here at the very beginning. I did build this little template here. It's just got a couple pieces of 1/4 inch plywood tacked onto this 3/4 inch sheet here, and it's just to keep, like when you're cutting and stuff like that, keeping things from sliding away from you as you're cutting on them and stuff like that. It just gives you a little lip or an edge for your pieces to hold on to as you're going across. The way it helps do that is it's got little feet here, these little angle things that I built into the edge, which actually hook onto the side of or on the face of the table here. So as you're putting pressure on it, it's holding the whole thing in place. So as you're cutting and stuff like that. Just a little template that I put together. I also put together a couple on this end too, just in case I wanted to swap it and have it long ways. So it's got 4 little fold up arms that you can use for cutting and stuff like that. Fun little setup there. Okay, so we don't need any of these anymore. Let's get this cleaned off here. I think we're gonna try this. Let's go back over to Illustrator. Let me see. I want to. Okay, let's take. I have an idea to make my life a little bit easier here, without having to worry about everything else. Let's go ahead and select all. Let's grab these, shift. Let's just move them over just. Yeah, I want to move them that direction. Okay, that should still be good. Okay, so if I print this out, it should move it over that direction a little bit. Let's go ahead and save that real quick. Okay, well, let's wait on this. We've got about 2 minutes before our first break comes up here. So let's go ahead and swap over to our outdoor cam here, see how our assistant's doing. Oh, she's hanging out by the door. She might want to come inside, who knows. But yeah, we're gonna pause here for the moment. We're gonna run a three-minute ad break coming up here in a couple minutes. And then when we come back, we'll keep going on figuring out whatever the heck this experiment is, and hopefully it goes well, so that I get a good transfer out of it and get some good details so that we can start cutting for our second hour here. Start working on that, because the cutting is going to take a while, for sure. So we want to try to work our way up to that. But stick around. We will be back here in 4 or 5 minutes pretty soon. So thanks for sticking around. We'll be right back. Our assistant is not very active today. Oh, she's found a fly to chase after. Or maybe it could have been a bee. Oh, nope, it's a fly. It just came right up to the camera. That's funny. Just wanted to let us know that he was over there bugging her. Hi, Sora. She's gonna go hide in the corner over here instead. There's loop 1. Oh, she only did 1 loop today. There you go. All right. Welcome back. Hello, everybody. Hi, Dreamer. We are back. We are ready to do the crazy part here. This is going to be quite interesting. Our points going... Oh, that's right. We need to switch our... I've got a bunch of things going on at the moment, so we're going to switch to our other assistant probably Wednesday. So hold on to your points. You'll have lots to give once we get that set up again. But yeah, we will have it, just not at the moment. Gotcha. Thank you. Okay. So I think we are ready to try this. I'm a little nervous about it, but I think we are ready. I don't have too many attempts at this, unfortunately. So let's switch over. Okay, we're back here again. So this is our sheet that we were using before, but we're going to peel off all of our sticker material here. All being done in real time here. Okay. So we took off all of the sticker paper stuff, and you can see it's just left with this shiny surface here, right? That's what we want. We want that shiny surface to transfer our image onto. So we're going to take this and put this in the printer now. It's glossy paper. I don't know if... Did we print that on photo? No, we just printed that on... I don't know what the settings are that we need to put onto it. Let's head back over to Illustrator real quick. Now that we got that cleaned up there. File, print. I guess I could have done one more test. Okay, that goes off the edge, so it didn't really matter much on that. I might print it. Okay, setup. Let's go the rear tray. I don't know if it's better to do photo paper or plain paper. That's the big one right there. I think photo would be best. We're gonna try best again. Print. All right, here we go. Here's our moment of truth. This is either gonna work or it's gonna suck. One of the two. Is there anything else that I want to change here? US letter. Got that set to. Let me make sure that the paper's set correctly. Alright, that's letter size. Glossy paper.
E126 just redeemed Sparkles emoji. Tahoe cheer, Sparkles emoji.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna try it on those settings. See what happens. May or may not work. We'll see. Print. Sending it off. All right. Printer has pulled it. Pull this back up over here.
Weird Mr. Alex _ pet the assistant.
Hey, thank you, Alex, for petting the assistant there. Hi. Okay, so now we're just waiting for things to print. We'll just leave it on the screen for the moment. Handycam, that's right. Well, it's not coming out as dark as I wanted it to, so our transfer is not going to be as good. It might be okay. Didn't know it was that kind of stream. Spicy. Yeah, I should have labeled it as spicy. Okay, so we've got... Here's our printed out image here. We're going to put that right there. You can see I'm already taking some of the ink off with my fingers down here at the bottom. No big deal. We're not using that. And then we're going to put this here. We're going to press down on it. Now the paper shouldn't move this time. When I did it the other way, the paper moved and we lost a lot of the details. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that for a second. Push it real good. Yep. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab another tool. I'll be right back. May make some screeching sounds. Sorry. Okay, hopefully that works. Try to be very careful. Take this off. Well, we got a good chunk of it. We did miss some of it. So we got some of the transfer. We did not get all of it though. We missed some of our base down here. So we could try to put it back. Luckily we've got it registered pretty well here. So we shouldn't get any duplication images going on here. Try to put some more pressure on it. Really try to push that down in there. I think our image it was on this side? No, it would have been flipped. Printed out like that. Yeah, it would be over here. Try to see if we can get any more of that ink transferred over. If at all. We got a little bit more. Got a little bit more of the eye and stuff down here, so at least I think we got like 90% of it on that one. Definitely didn't realize how close that was down to the edge down here. I think we can make this work. I think we got close enough with our transfer here, so that's what we've got. Like I said, it's not like perfect, it's not great, but it damn well gets us pretty close. I wish I could get more ink put onto this, and I might be able to depending on what my print settings are, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think that works out pretty good. That worked out pretty good. I ain't mad at it. Let's just say that. Okay, so we should be done with our printer now. So what's the project? Ooh, good question, Alex. Good question. Let's go back over to the main board here. We'll back out just a little bit. So we're going to be doing essentially what we've made is a giant stamp, right? Or what we're going to be making is a giant stamp. So most of like bags like this on the right hand side, these little canvas bags or tote bags, they are screen printed, but sometimes you can actually make yourself a stamp and use the stamp to print your images onto the bags like this. So I have some experience and some tools doing printmaking. So that's kind of what we're setting up today is doing some printmaking, basically making a stamp so we can do printmaking. So we took our image today for the first hour and we figured out which directions it needed to go so that when we printed it, it would print the correct way. And then that's where we are right now. We just transferred our image from, we printed it out of our printer onto this super glossy sheet of, I don't even remember what these are. These are like labels. You ever get those label pages with the little labels on them, the circles or rectangles? You take all of that off and you get this shiny sheet here, and you print that out and the ink just sits on the surface because it's so shiny and non-porous. So then you take this and you slap it on top of it and the ink transfers to it if you rub it enough and push it down in there. So now we have an image onto this piece of linoleum, which is about less than 1/4 inch thick here. But now we can sit and we can cut everything out of here with our tools and turn it into a stamp. That's what we're doing. We're experimenting with all the things. So did you have to print backwards or is it correct direction? Yes, so the way it worked, and I'll show it again. So as you can see, this is backward. This currently is backwards to this, right? So in order to print out, so this is our sheet that we just printed out on, right? So we printed out normally on this sheet, so that when we flipped it and pressed it onto the vinyl, it was backwards, right? So now when we take this and flip it over and print this onto the bags, it'll take the backwards image and print it forwards again. So we're doing a double. We have to go forwards, backwards, forwards is essentially what we've got going on here. Yeah. Most times people, when they do this process, they just do it one way. They don't do the triple flip on this. But because I'm me and I do weird things like this. Print out normal on this, so this transfers to here, and this transfers to here. So if you were doing this like by hand, you would have to draw all of your words backwards on there. So see how everything is backwards? Buttons, patch, best friends, all of it's backwards on there because this is your negative image that you then turn and print onto other stuff. That's how that works. That's what we did today. And look, I already got ink all over myself for the day, so it's okay. So now the best thing that I could do, I could probably put something over top of this so I don't want to smear the ink all over, or maybe I want to go set it outside so that it dries. As you can see, I've already, down here at the bottom, I've already smudged it a little bit. So, sorry about that. I didn't think about it before. I was just trying to get all the stuff off of it. Yeah, I got a big ink smudge, finger smudge up there too. Don't want to spray anything on it because I don't want... I know what I'm gonna do. Let's try to get the excess ink off of here that we've got so it doesn't smudge as badly. We'll try, see what we can do. Maybe it'll help fill in some of those areas. Yep, took off our excess ink, so we should be pretty good now. Okay, now that we've got this, we can actually start to do some of the cutting here. I may have to fix a couple of these spots so that I remember where the line comes through. If I start heavy breathing in the microphone, I'm sorry. I'm just really close. So that's our line there. It's a little thin, but that's okay. Okay, so what we're going to use this cutting tool. This is our speedball cutter. This is the one I had. Man, handy stream. Pushing and breathing heavy. It is spicy. It is. This is our cutting tool. This is our speedball cutter here. Comes with all of our blades and stuff in the handle of the device here. So just pour them out. They just have little curves on them, little sharp cutting. That's what we're going to use. We're going to use those to cut all of our details out here. So we're just going to release by spinning that. So it goes in, tighten it down. There we go. So this is kind of why we needed these bumpers here, is because as I'm pushing, all of the pressure is going to be going that direction. So this is catching it and keeping it from sliding away from us. This is the whole kicker of it. There we go. There's our first cut, and there's our little piece that came off of there. Let's see it right there. That's all it is. Simple. I think I'm gonna go with the bigger. This is for really fine details. I think I want a bigger one. I want the big one. I'm just glad that my tools are still in good shape. But you want to go, so this is all going to be hand cut and then hand printed and stuff. So that's what we're doing. The part is, I need to move all these guys down here. I might have to move the camera at some point in order to get to my my X-Acto knife. Some of our details that we lost. Some of these we can change directions. It'll all be hand cut, hand printed. I think I already said that, but still. Heavy breathing. At some point, yes, there will be heavy breathing. So when I'm doing something like this where we're cutting into lino and stuff like that, you want to be able to press just hard enough to cut through the surface of the material, but you don't want to press so hard and then like skip across or, you know, make a bunch of big jabs in your materials or anything like that. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab my X-Acto blades real quick. Means we're gonna have to reset our camera. I moved everything. There we go. We should be back now. Let's set up an X-Acto blade here. I want to cut this very specifically. Get that off of there so I don't ruin the cut that I made with the tool. Okay, so switch to here. No, it's gonna have to go this way. You just want to go nice and slow, cutting through. Excuse me. Nice and slow, just concentrating on making sure your cuts are nice and clean. You're gonna have little boogers on it, whatever, but that's just part of printmaking. Is it's not going to be perfect. Wouldn't a clamp be good for this? To clamp the linoleum down? Is that what you're saying?
Trying to get this right, man. Sucks being up all night, knowing what you want to say, but can't find the words to express yourself. You know what I'm saying? This is what this one's gonna be about.
See, okay. The problem with that is it gets in the way. So that's why I've constructed, like I said, this little piece here to slide in and catch it so that we can press against all of it. And that's why it's got these the little hand arms here that hold onto our table. So we're free to be able to move around and cut in any direction without hitting on any any clamps or anything like that. The same idea. And then we just rotate the piece depending on which direction we want to cut and how we want to cut everything. Give it 100% and nothing less. Develop your talents, cause that's how I cope with the stress. The rest will follow suit. All that's gotta be done is be you. All you have to do is be you. Oops, I bumped that camera big time. Sorry about that. My mind rushing, pacing back and forth, just trying to create something. Wish that I could pick this pen up and draw this picture and become the person I see when I look in the mirror. Lost in thought, got my mind rushing. Back and forth, just trying to create. The other thing you want to make sure that you're careful of when you're doing something like this or process like this is even though these don't seem very big or whatever like that, they are still sharp blades. So you notice how, like, if I'm cutting whatever, I'm not putting my fingers or hands in front of the blade just in case it does decide to jump out of the material. It doesn't stab me and cause me to bleed and have to go to the ER. Because that would not be fun. This one's going to be a little bit of an interesting corner there. Haha, why not? Oh, it's, you know, I don't want to have to run around all day with a bandage on my finger. That would be silly. Who would do that? Who would do that? Pacing back and forth, just trying to create something. Wish that I could pick this pen up and draw this picture and become the person I see when I look in the mirror. This one's gonna be interesting. Okay, got that. This one isn't as sharp as I want it to be, so we'll come back in a little bit. And then we'll probably take our X-Acto knife. Here we go. Flipping you the bird with my big pink bandage finger. I didn't say a word about you, Dreamer. I didn't say anything about you cutting your finger and having to go to the ER yesterday or anything. I didn't say a word. I am just a humble servant of the people here. Also, I will apologize now if I do get into cutting and concentrating really, really hard and I stop talking. It's not you, it's me. It's because I'm concentrating so hard. Perfect. The other thing you want to pay attention to when you're doing this type of cutting and stuff like that, you can see our little curl down here at the bottom, is depending on how hard you push will determine how much of the material is cut out. Because this is in a little V shape here for our cutter. Where's our camera lens at? Bloop. See, it's a little V shape. The harder you press down, the bigger chunk or bigger amount you're going to cut out. So like these outside cuts that I've made are a little bit wider than these internal cuts that I made because I let up on the pressure a little bit so that I can keep them nice and thin. That. Sometimes you gotta do a little bit of wiggle. Okay, there we go. Good on that one. bypass that a little bit, and we'll probably come back and cut a majority of this out. Once we get the main base of everything kind of figured out, then we can come back and start cutting the big chunks of this piece out too. Okay. Try to clean this up the best we can here. The whole point of this type of printing and stuff like that, you want those sharp edges between the cuts, the grooves that you made, and the top surface. That's what's going to be making your printing, like, it's pretty pronounced when you look at like stamps and stuff like that, but when you're doing this type of like lino cutting, it's not as deep, it's a little more shallow. So you want to make sure that if you're doing stuff like this, that your edges and stuff like that are nice and crisp the way you cut them, that you have the stuff cleaned up the way you want it, so that you can have nice tight edges. So you have nice tight details for your prints. I'm just adding an extra little cut here to make sure that that detail is nice, and see if it'll pop out. There it goes. You also don't want to go too crazy on it, because it will make the linoleum not as strong right there, and your prints will start to degrade in those areas. Okay, cool. Started. That one could probably be edged a little bit better. Pretty good though. Hopefully that didn't come through the microphone, but I sure should. Probably did. Sorry, doing a bunch of things that I probably shouldn't be doing, but I'm not thinking about it, I'm just working. Okay, so got one more to cut here. I think I need to. Hopefully this is dry enough. Here we go. me. This one needs to get cut. This. Okay. Bam, there we go. Sometimes you just gotta flick it out of there. Just the way it works. Okay, so let's get this one up here fixed up. Tried to set this camera system up the best I could so that you guys can see as much as you could, but it's not ideal. But it is what I got, so. Hopefully my sun has gone away now. Get some more light in here. Yeah, good. It was really blinding me before the shade was open. There we go. Okay, not too bad. It's looking pretty good. We need to get down to here and then go across. So let's go ahead and start this one. Try not to hit any of the letters on our pass through here. Go. Also, I don't know if my big head is getting in the way at all, but oops, definitely lost it on that one. There we go. Nice and sharp corners. That's the whole plan there. go. Sweet. Yes, sweet. Okay, so let's cut this one out. Okay, got that. We need to cut all this inside stuff out. That's okay. Let's move on to one of these other ones. That one's pretty good shape at the moment. Like I said, the hard part is going to be the words and stuff too. Probably going to be the worst part. Always let up on the pressure a little bit right there at the end before we reach the other mark, the other cut. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and put a cut here. Okay. So if you ever want something that is very like calming to your soul, calming to your, heart rate, everything else like that, doing something like this where you have to be not necessarily like super careful in a way, but in order to keep like your lines nice and straight and everything, like I was saying, like the depth of your blade and stuff, you have to really control your breathing across the piece. Like as I was cutting across that, like really holding that steady pressure, that steady pace across there, and then holding that, keeping your heart rate and stuff in that same rhythm and pace so that everything runs smoothly across there. So if you're looking for something to help you, say you have high cholesterol, heart problems, whatever like that, I'm sorry, art can do a lot of things for you. If you would like it to. Help teach you how to do some of those things, those techniques. The last thing you want to do is rush around and make a bunch of mistakes or push too hard and cut through something and it end up looking like poo-poos. Go. Got some good details there. I think I need to clean up this corner over here a little bit though. Work on some more of that. So I cut those a little bit, and then I'm going to come back with this tool. Just going to cut a little bit in on them. Oh, nice and scored correctly. There we go. So you can cut the 45s there sharp and then reach underneath with your blade and then flick up and it should break off a little bit. Make a nice clean corner for you. Is the idea. Okay, so swap back over here. That's the other part about, like, if I was using a clamp, I would have to unclamp and reclamp every time I wanted to flip this around and get to a different angle, which would be kind of aggravating in the long run. Would not be fun to have to do that. Another reason why I don't use a clamp for this. Up later. Okay, cool. Now we got that border done, this border done. Gotta do this border, and then we can start doing all of the stuff on the inside of each one of them. We might try to tackle these words first. We'll see. We'll see what I want to do once we get to that point. Go. Okay. We'll clean all that up here in a second. Hopefully I don't hit the camera on this one. I did. Bumped it with my arm. Sorry. Do this one too. bumped it again. Probably should find a different way to... I have a whole different type of camera setup with the iPad, which actually like hangs over top. That's the one that's currently facing our outside right now. I could probably bring that one over because this one's really, really close to me. That's why I keep bumping it. I just want to take everybody on a ride. Right. Done, cleaned up.
Coffee Kindred bet the assistant.
Hey, thank you, Coffee Kindred. We're working on something a little bit different today. Working on our printmaking stuff today. Get all these hairs off of here. Let's see. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, so we wanted to do, I don't know if you were here for the one stream that we did where we talked about, this is our design, this is our concept. We wanted to do our own printing on these tote bags. So we didn't really like the iron-on transfers. Getting them manufactured by somebody is really expensive. So the next best thing to do was do it ourselves, and I have printmaking background. I've done a bunch of this before. Actually even had this piece of linoleum ready to go in the garage already. So that's what we're doing. We were able to get our design set up this morning, get it transferred to our piece of linoleum here. Now we are, as you can kind of see a little bit here, you can see some of the cut marks going in. We're going to slowly work our design down into the linoleum, and then we should have it to be able to do some prints with at some point down the road, is the hope and the idea here. So yeah, just trying to use all of the skills and stuff that I have available to me, and not cost me any money to do, kind of thing. That's the thing, you can buy and do all the stuff, but the cheapest way to do it is to do it yourself, unfortunately. So that's where we are. Cool. We do have our second ad break coming up here. Let's check on our outdoors. Our assistant is not, she is out there, but she's out by the end of the deck now instead of over here by the door. So we're gonna take a 3-minute break here and then give my hands a, oh well, now we're in it. Then we'll come back. That one was fast today. That one was fast. Okay. I'm still here. I didn't go too far. I just went for a brief walkabout. But I have returned. You have to let me... So ads are weird. Like, I think they should pop up... Yeah, I think they should pop up regardless. Like, even if you join the stream right before the ad break, it should still show you ads. Because you're going to get, like, the pre-roll ones regardless. No, I don't think I have pre-roll set. I don't know. Yeah, got some really sharp corners in here that we're going to have to work on. Oh, man. Cool to see so many people in here. We got Dreamer in here. We got Sunny in here. Coffee Kindred in here. Alex was here for a minute. I think Bishek was here for a minute. That's awesome. Ooh, I'm gonna have such a mess to clean up on this desk when I get done. All right, we should be done. That ad break started way faster than I thought it was going to. But I also started talking way later than I probably should have, too, so... That one was on me again. Happens. Happens a lot. Thank you for coming in here, Coffee Kindred. Appreciate it. Yeah, I have a... I went to college for art studio. I got a degree in art studio. So I took everything that I could under the sun during that time. Printmaking, photography... sculpture, whatever I could get my hands on, I tried to do all of the practical, you know, the base artistic stuff that I could. And getting into this process of publishing kids' books and stuff like that, and doing in-person events, was kind of... Dreamer and I actually sat down and we were trying to decide, be like, what is it that we are trying to do here? What is the main, I guess, the thing behind it? And I think what I took away from it is there's a lot of production involved in, like, creating and producing and putting out, like, kids' books and stuff, which is great. But there's a lot of... I don't even know how to explain it. I think we get... I don't know. I think it was just a choice on my side that I'm like, I want to continue to make sure that the artistic focus of what I'm doing is the main focus, right? The main staple of what I've got going on. And if doing a bunch of this stuff by hand, and you know, essentially making all of this like handmade kind of idea and mixing it with the artwork that I'm doing and creating in the books and stuff like that. And even though those are being produced by or printed by a third party, you know, 99% of it is still handmade in that way, right? Because I'm making it myself. So it's like, do I lean into that? Do I not lean into that? I think we're kind of leaning into it and seeing where it goes. If it gets bigger, then we'll do more cool stuff that's different, and if not, we'll do cool stuff like this for now, and I'll get to keep using some of the skills that I've learned over the years and making little limited runs of stuff like this. See how it goes. Just kind of experimenting and seeing what happens here. Okay. Let's go back. Just back to my other camera. Boop, there we go. We'll keep going. Let's see. It also doesn't hurt that this is the cheapest option that I can figure out, because my labor and everything else, figuring out all of the steps of this and doing them all by hand, is also the cheapest way that I can produce something, and kind of, not necessarily mass produce it, but you know, like have a limited run of certain things at the lowest cost that I can get them at. Because I don't know if y'all noticed, but I ain't rich. And I'm not good at taking risks on stuff like that, unfortunately. Cost me, I think it was $40, 40, $50 for the ink and the bags that I bought to test this all out on. And even that made me nervous. It was like $50, oh my god. I know I sound like an old school, an old timer. There we go. Cleaned up. That should be cleaned up. That one's cleaned up. That one's cleaned up. Let's cut this in a little bit here. Go. Yeah, we want to make sure that there's no ridges sticking up that could cause ink to set there and print on accident. We don't want any accidental pieces popping up in our print. That's good. That's cut. We still have borders in there to cut. Go borders everywhere to cut. Just fine. Just fine. Cool. That one's going to be a little bit of a dick. We might have to go to a smaller cutter for this space right in between there. It's a really tight one. The rest of these, this could all be cut with the big guy here. Same here. That one should be okay. Gets thin down there. We might have to go to a different size for that one there. And then the lines around Patch right here for his little change in his pattern and stuff like that. That one definitely needs a thin. We're gonna have to be very, very careful on that one. That's the one detail. That line, that thin line, and a couple of these other lines, like for the face, around the eyes. Those ones are gonna be. We have to be extra careful on those. They're gonna be pretty tight. Okay. Okay. Where was I? It was right here. Straight lines are definitely the easiest ones to do. Hence why I'm doing them all right now. Perfect. That. Do have to say, it does take some patience to get this. Get what you're doing just right. A little bit of patience, not a lot, just a little bit.
Sunny_Ruth says big stretch.
Ooh, thank you, Sunny. I will do that here shortly. Got a little too thin there, but that's okay. It's a print. I haven't done this in a long time, so we're okay. It'll be good. I know it still doesn't look like much, but we're slowly getting there. All of our little cuts all over the place. Always looks much different when you're doing it on the block here compared to when you get your final print off of it. World of a difference. All right, we'll do some stretches. We'll go down here. Hello. Oh my God. I do want to let everybody know we're going to end the stream before our last ads come up here. Oh my goodness. Always got to do hand stretches and stuff like that too, especially before you're doing all this. Look, I got ink. I got ink all over me already. It's all over the place. It's all over my hands and stuff. I'm just rubbing it into everything. The way it works. Gotta get dirty to have cool stuff. We're gonna probably roll up the stream early. I'm gonna say early. On time today, so I'll do my wrap up and everything else like that before we get to our last ad break. So we won't have to worry about a final ad break today. So this way I can go pick up my daughter from her school activity stuff and then go from there.
Sunny_Ruth says save your work.
Ooh, okay, I will save my work. Let's go here. Okay, thank you, Sunny. Did do that. Appreciate that. We're gonna save this work here. Ready? Okay, this is saved now. Cool. We're all good. We did the thing. Flinging stuff everywhere, but got it out of there. Okay, so we can start working on some of this. Okay, so the whole idea is to get some of the material out, but we don't have to get all of it out. We just want to be able to get a majority of it out here. So let's switch over to our slightly bigger cutter here.
Sunny_Ruth bet the assistant.
Here we go. As long as we drop it down below the surface, then we should be good to go. Come on, unscrew. Thank you. Thank you for petting the assistant there, Sunny. I don't know quite where she's at the moment. She was... Oh yeah, she's still out there on the deck. She's just, where she's laying in the sun is where she's at. That's the big thing. Okay, I want to switch back. There we go. I said this before, but I'll let you all know again. We will have a new challenge for everybody to put their points into on Wednesday. When I get that set up, we'll have Patch be our assistant again for the next month here. I didn't have time to put it together this morning for him, so we just get to continue to hang out and see what Sora's up to at the moment. Ooh, sounds like my son finally woke up. So we did that one. I think we need to get the smaller one for this next part. The different blades are different sizes here. Like I said, remember to make sure to keep your hands out of the weight pathways of the blades if you can. I'm putting mine a little bit at risk here, but not too bad. Okay, switch back over to our other bigger one. Now that we have part of that started, the cut started on that one. Come back in with the bigger one, cut further out past it. Go. Slow and steady. We're just going to take little bits at a time here. There we go. Got that whole top section taken out now. Okay, so now we should be able to switch back over to our... Good job saving your work. Thank you, babe. Sometimes these get stuck in the tool themselves. They're kind of a butt to pop out. Now we're just going to take out the rest of this junk here. We don't need it. Essentially what we're doing is with all of the raised edges of the linoleum, that's what's going to be, the ink is going to stick to, that we'll be transferring to our bags. And then everything else that's lower that we've cut will remain the color underneath, which will be the white, or in the case of these bags, it'll be that canvas color. So that's why you want to go back and cut all of this stuff out, like above his head and stuff that we just opened up, because we want that to be the color of the material underneath when we print. We don't want that to be black at all. This is way easier to do than woodblock printing, which is a little bit harder. I think my favorite one to do though was the zinc plates, because it was a much bigger process to do, and included putting your your artwork into acid and getting it etched, and it was fun. If you like art and your university or school has a lab with printmaking stuff on it, go check it out. It's kind of cool stuff to do. They give you a better understanding of where all of our printed materials come from, because like I said, this is the base form of what all printing is based off of. You say, Tahoe, what about the printing press? And I tell you, yes, all of those were hand cut letters and stuff like that were put into those presses in order to print all of that material. Hand cut at one point. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like now. That's what the top looks like. So we've cut all of that excess material out of there, and I could probably go back and take a little bit more just to make sure it's down far enough, but even that should be good enough. And all we're doing is we're just leaving these raised edges where the ink transferred over, and then we'll go back and we'll cut out all the stuff inside for his face using that exact same technique. We'll try to leave as much of the edging and stuff around the outside as possible. Kind of the idea. Long format process, but it does work. It does work. We do have a lot of intricate details to cut out of this. I'm hoping should be able to do them all. What size is that one? One. I think I have 2 of those. I do. Cool. Just in case I break one of them. I don't want to break one of them, but it does happen. Okay, so let's see. Can I cut this guy out? There we go. Little pop out. Let's go ahead and try to do this one over here. Try to be really careful with these. I think that's the hardest part about doing this type of printmaking, is that if you make a mistake or something like that, there's really no way to, like, you can't glue it back together or anything like that. You might barely be able to do it, but it's really, really hard to do. We'll do that. Don't want to cut. These pieces are super, super thin. that was the worry that I had when I started this, before I chose to do this type of printing for our bags and stuff like that, was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to get uber detailed stuff out of this, especially being this small format. If it was like a much bigger block, much bigger print, maybe, but not going to be able to get everything out of this one. So, like I said, it's an attempt. We're seeing if it works, if it plays out well, and go from there, kind of thing. Yeah, there we go. Cut out that little square there. Beautiful. So now we need to go back to our... I think we need to go back to our medium-sized one. For this next bit. I think I cut that already. Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's so razor thin. Oof. We'll see if it holds. No guarantees. For anybody who just saw that, if you drop a knife or anything like that, let it fall. Don't try to catch it. Working around construction tools all my life and stuff like that. Definitely learned that lesson. Don't try to catch it. It's not worth it. So we got most of that. Okay, got that out. So that should be the majority of it. Okay, there we go. That. Okay, yeah, there we go. So we got that all cut out all the way down to here. Got those little couple of details put in there. Nothing broke off of there, but they're really, really tiny, so that one's gonna be tough. We still got a couple other pieces that gotta go in for that. Lots more details to cut out of here, so got tons more work to do. I'm getting ink all over myself. I don't know if that's gonna be good or bad here at the moment. I think I might have to just finish getting everything cut, even with the little guy here, and then going from there. Hopefully I don't have ink all over my face. I may have ink all over my face. Yeah, I might want to just go around and cut all these details out so then at least I have them and then I can come back and clean up everything rather than cleaning up as I go, which I've been doing so far. Might be a smart way to do it. This way I don't lose anything while I'm busy sticking my hand in the ink all over the place. Always fun. Oop, bump the camera again. The cool thing about this is you can get pretty small details in, but you just have to be really, really careful about it. The camera again. Just keep doing it. Yeah, I'll have to come back and clean all that up at some point. And it doesn't have to be a super deep groove that you cut in any of this stuff either. It could be fairly light because you're not putting a whole bunch of pressure on for your prints, depending on which type you're doing. Okay, that's over here to do. Definitely have to come back and cut those deeper with our X-Acto blade at some point here. For sure, for sure. Make sure I can see how those are going to be, the words are going to be the worst part because we're going to use the little cutter for that. And really trying to get around those fine details is going to be pretty difficult. Trying to do all of the easy stuff first and then do the hard stuff, but we're getting to the hard stuff pretty quick here. Missed. I think I want this to be more perfect than it's probably going to be. I know I have to embrace some of the flaws because that's just part of the printmaking process here with what the material we're using, but I still want all the perfection. But I know I can't have it. And this is going to be the sucky part. His Patch's whiskers are going to be the worst. I know that they're going to be the worst. I don't know quite how to do them yet. I don't think I can do those tight details. Those are just too thin. That is the only problem with this. Speaking of Patch, he's over there yelling at me in the kitchen. Just gonna have to do the best we can here. It's not gonna have the detail that I want, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Lots of details in that one. Lots of details in that one. Alright, checking my time here. Got a little bit left. Let's try to do a couple more things here. Not all the things, but a couple more. And we'll pick it up again on Wednesday when we get back. Just taking chunks out right now, trying to get it down. Widening up our marks that we've already made here. So we can come back in with the big one and really take out the chunks. Love, she says. Yeah, it's by no means going to be perfect, but the prints aren't going to be perfect either. But it'll be pretty good. It'll be fun, hopefully. Okay, 48. We're getting there. Cool thing is if we print this and there's stuff that's sticking up in the print, we can always go back and recut part of the lino block here and fix it. If like one of these ridges is too high, easy fix. Like I said, the only thing you can't do is go back and add material back. That part is kind of a one and done. So sometimes you have to live with mistakes that you make. Just really depends. Sometimes you cut yourself with a kitchen knife, you just have to live with the mistakes. I'm kidding, baby. I'm kidding. For anybody who wants to know, yes, Dreamer did have to go get 2 stitches. So I'm giving her a little bit of a hard time because it's funny. All right. Cool. I'll have to come back and do some more cleanup on this once we get the majority of the rest of this cut out. This way we don't, hopefully we don't break anything, even these like thin little guys. We don't want to break those off or anything. So there we go. We got a good chunk of it today. We still have a lot of the really fine details to work on, and then we'll cut out all of this outside material and stuff like that, depending on how we want to put this together. But yeah, we're getting there. So we'll see how it goes. See if this works. Maybe if we want to switch to a different medium for future stuff, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we've got about 7 minutes here before our last ad break. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing the roll-up spiel and all of that right now. And then we'll end our stream for the afternoon, and then we will come back on Wednesday. So we've got... I've got a bunch of things in my head. We got lots going on, lots coming up. So, I will be back on Wednesday. We should be able to do a longer stream on Wednesday, a little bit longer stream on Wednesday, because since my kids are out of school for spring break, I should be able to do a little bit longer. So I'm going to keep the time the same, like on all of my publications out there. For this, we just might run a little extra long, that's all. So no, not much of a difference here. So that'll be Wednesday, and then Friday we should be here for the same art stream, 9 to 12. No difference on there. And then Sunday we're gonna do our, Sunday we will not be doing our 500 Little Things podcast because we will be gone. Then Monday the 30th and April 1st, we will not be streaming as well. So I won't be here. But please make sure, if you want to follow along with the stuff that we've been working on, I'm basically gonna, for the social media posts that I'll put out on those days, we're gonna kind of recap all of the stuff that we've done today and the stuff we did last week as well with all of our stream things. So if you want to see those videos, please follow me over on Instagram. Trying to build all of that, trying to see, what kind of little community we can put together and stuff like that. So that's I think that's all of it. I'm not 100% sure. Should be all of it. If I think of more stuff, I'll let everybody know. We'll be back on Wednesday, so. Let's do one last check here on our assistant. Oh, there she is. She's just hanging out outside. Nice little cool breeze going on out there. Not too hot. Not too cool. Just perfect. So, and then hopefully, I need to write myself a note. Set up our challenge for patch for next week on Wednesday as well. So that we can put our points towards that. Yeah. All right, peoples, before we get too far into our break here, or get too close to it, we're going to roll up stream. So thank you all for coming by. I really appreciate it. Switch here. Thank you, Dreamer. Thank you, Coffee Kindred. Thank you, Weird Mr. Alex. Thank you, B-Shack. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you all for coming in and watching for a little bit and hanging out. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Have a good rest of your day. Bye, everybody.